Marina clutched the edge of the sink convulsively, feeling a thin stream of blood flow down her cheek from the cut. Eyebrows. Her face was reflected in the mirror, pale, with huge frightened eyes. And a fresh bruise, which was already beginning to turn crimson. Hide it, bruise, and sit beautifully. Mom doesn't like it when you ruin her holiday, Victor hissed, grabbing her by the chin and forcing her to look him in the eyes. His fingers dug painfully into the skin. Do you understand me? In an hour there will be guests, and you will smile as if nothing happened. No tears, no complaints. You happy wife of a successful man. Remember this. Marina was only 26 years old, but at these moments she felt like a deep old woman. 3 years for courage turned into a real hell. Although it all started like a fairy tale. Victor was 15 years older than her. A wealthy businessman, owner of a chain of car dealerships, charming and gallant. He showered her with gifts, took her to restaurants, gave flowers. Her mother Valentina Petrovna couldn't get enough of her son-in-law. What a well done, how he loves you, she admired, not noticing how her daughter is gradually changing. Marina received her first blow 6 months after weddings. Victor came home drunk after the corporate party and got mad because that the dinner had gotten cold. The plate of borscht flew into the wall, and Marina got slapped. In the morning he was sobbing on his knees, swearing that it would never happen again. He brought a huge bouquet of roses and gold earrings. Marina forgave. Then there were new blows, new apologies, new gifts. The circle is complete. With trembling hands, she opened her cosmetic bag and took out foundation. She needed urgently disguise the traces of the beating. Mom and Aunt Larissa will arrive in 40 minutes to celebrate Victor's birthday. A thick layer of foundation lay on the bruise, but it was not completely hidden. It worked. Marina added powder, then another layer of cream. The face became like a mask, but there was no other way out. In the bedroom, Victor changed into a dress suit, whistling some tune. He always became cheerful after he vented his anger. Marinochka, honey, are you ready? Don't forget to put on that blue dress I bought you for last week. You look respectable in it. His voice sounded affectionately, as if he hadn't thrown her against the wall half an hour ago. The blue dress hung in the closet with a tag. Victor bought her clothes himself, choosing closed outfits calm tones. The wife of a successful man should look modest and elegantly, he said. Marina pulled the dress over her head, trying not to touch the sore eyebrow. The mirror reflected a beautiful young woman in an expensive outfit, with a perfect hair and flawless makeup. Only the eyes gave away the truth. In them such melancholy froze that she wanted to cry. The doorbell made her shudder. It's Mom and Aunt Larissa. Quickly go down and meet the guests. And remember, not a word too much. Victor straightened his tie and headed toward stairs. Marina took a deep breath and followed him. Valentina Petrovna stood on the threshold with a huge box of cake in her hands. Aunt Larissa, her younger sister, was smiling nearby. Mothers, an energetic 50-year-old woman who worked as a head doctor in a private clinic. Vitenka, dear, happy birthday. Valentina Petrovna rushed to embrace her son-in-law. 40 years old. A wonderful age for men. Victor smiled broadly and gallantly kissed his mother-in-law's hand. Valentina Petrovna, you look wonderful. Come into the living room. Marina, take the cake from Mom and take it to the kitchen. His voice sounded warm and friendly. Marina obediently took the box, trying not to meet her mother's gaze. Marisha, you look pale. Everything is fine. Valentina Petrovna worriedly looked at her daughter. Everything is fine, Mom. Just a little tired, getting ready for holiday. Marina tried to smile, but the smile came out strained. Aunt Larissa, she carefully examined her niece with the professional gaze of a doctor. Something Marina's appearance made her wary, but she decided to keep quiet for now. Let's go help you in the kitchen, she suggested. No, what are you saying? Sit down at the table, I'll bring everything myself. Marina hurried into the kitchen, feeling Auntie's scrutinizing gaze. The festive table was bursting with delicacies. Victor loved to show off his wealth. Black caviar, salmon, expensive cheeses. Cognac for €1,000, bottle. Marina rushed between the kitchen and the dining room, carrying the dish. Every movement there was pain in the ribs. Victor tried especially hard today. And where are the other guests? Valentina Petrovna asked, looking around the empty living room. Colleagues, they're delayed. Traffic jams, Victor answered casually. pouring cognac into glasses. In fact, he didn't invite anyone. He didn't want strangers to see Marina in such a state. The bruise, despite the thick layer of makeup, still showed through. At the table, a relaxed atmosphere reigned. Victor told jokes, asked his mother-in-law about her retirement plans, and was interested in Larissa's work. He was charming, attentive, caring, and gallant. "Marina, my dear, come sit down with us. Why are you always running around?" He took his wife gently by the hand and sat her down next to him. Marina shuddered from his touch, but tried not to show it. "Let me say a toast." Valentina Petrovna stood up, with a glass in hand. At that moment, something happened that Marina had not expected at all. Victor's face changed instantly. The charming smile disappeared, replaced by expression of poorly concealed malice. His jaws clenched, his eyes narrowed. He looked at his mother-in-law with such hatred that Marina involuntarily recoiled. "Dear Vitya," Valentina Petrovna began, not noticing the change in her son-in-law. "I want to thank you for making my daughter happy. When I see how you take care of her, my mother's heart rejoices. I wish you health, success in business, and long life. To you." Victor stretched his lips into something resembling a smile with difficulty and sipped the cognac. But Larissa noticed his reaction. Years of working in medicine taught her to read people. This man clearly had far from warm feelings for his mother-in-law, although he tried hard to hide it. "And now my toast." Larissa stood up, staring, looking at Victor. "I want to wish you, Victor, to learn to truly appreciate that. What do you have? Marina is a wonderful girl, and she deserves the most better attitude. Remember this every day." There was a hidden subtext in Larissa's words. Victor tensed. His nostrils flared slightly, a sure sign of anger. "Thank you for your kind words, Larissa Petrovna. I really appreciate Marina and try make her happy." His voice was even, but Marina knew after leaving she will get guests for this toast too. The dinner continued in a tense atmosphere. Valentina Petrovna, not noticing the undercurrents, chatted about her plans for the summer, about the renovation of the apartment, about the neighbors. Larissa was mostly silent. Watching her niece, Marina barely touched her food, smiled mechanically and nodded in the right places. "Marisha, show your mother that the bracelet I gave you last week," Victor suddenly said. It was a clear hint to remind his mother-in-law what a generous and caring husband he is. Marina obediently stood up. "I'll bring it now." She went upstairs to the bedroom, wherein the box contained numerous pieces of jewelry, silent witnesses to the beatings and humiliations. Each necklace, each earring appeared after another scandal. Opening the box, Marina froze for a second. Among the golden diamonds there was a small silver brooch in the shape of a swallow. A gift from her father on her 18th birthday. Dad died 7 years ago from a heart attack, and this brooch was the only memory of him. Marina ran her finger over it carefully. "Daddy, if you were alive, would you let me treat you like that?" She whispered. "Marina, where are you?" "Stuck." Victor's irritated voice made her flinch. She quickly grabbed the emerald bracelet and hurried down. "Here, Mom, look. Victor gave it to us for our anniversary." She handed the jewelry to Valentina Petrovna. "What beauty, Vitenka. You are simply a treasure." She was touched. "Marisha, try it on. Show me how it looks." Marina fastened the bracelet on her wrist, and then what she most was afraid. The sleeve of her dress had ridden up, revealing fresh bruises on her forearm. Traces Victor's grip yesterday. Larissa reacted instantly. "Marina, what is this?" She grabbed her niece by the hand, looking at her carefully. "Hematomas." The doctor's professional opinion unmistakably determined their origin. These were obvious fingerprints. "I hit the closet door," she stammered. Marina, trying to pull her hand away. "Don't lie to me," Larissa said harshly. "I have been a doctor for 30 years and I know what the marks of blows look like." Valentina Petrovna looked at her sister and then at her daughter, uncomprehendingly. "What are you talking about? What traces?" Victor rose from the table. His face was purple, the veins on his neck swelled. "Larissa Petrovna, I think you are crossing the line. It is not accepted in my house to interrogate." "And what is accepted in your house?" "To beat the wife." Larissa stood up opposite him, her arms crossed over her chest. Despite the difference in height, she did not look scared. "What, Vitya? What is she talking about?" Valentina Petrovna looked from her son-in-law to her daughter in confusion. "Marisha, Tell me what this is. Untrue. Marina was silent, her head down. Tears were dripping onto her expensive dress, leaving dark stains on the blue fabric. How dare you? Get out of my house, Victor roared. The mask of decency had finally fallen off, showing the true face of a domestic tyrant. Marina is simply clumsy. Always something hits. And here you are spreading dirty insinuations. Clumsy. And the bruise under the layer of makeup is also from clumsiness. Larissa stepped towards Marina and quickly wiped the foundation off her cheek with a napkin. A crimson bruise appeared in all its glory. Valentina Petrovna gasped, pressing her hand to her mouth. Marinochka, my daughter, is it true? Her voice trembled. She approached her daughter, touched her face with trembling hands. He's hitting you. Marina could no longer contain herself. The sobs burst forth. She fell to her knees. In front of my mother. Mommy, forgive me. Forgive me. I didn't mean to upset you. You were so happy for me, so proud that I got married successfully. Victor tried to grab his wife by the hair, but Larissa stood between them. No dare to touch her. Her voice rang with anger. One more step and I'm calling the police. Call them. Victor grinned. I have half the city management in friends. Do you think who will believe? A successful businessman or hysterical woman? Valentina Petrovna hugged her daughter, stroked her head, herself crying on the burst. How is that possible, Marinochka? Why were you silent? Why didn't you say me? I was afraid to disappoint you, Mom. You so dreamed of me being happy. And Daddy is gone. There is no one to protect me. Marina clung to her mother like a little girl. Enough of this performance. Victor grabbed a bottle of cognac from the table. Get out of here, everyone. Are you? He pointed his finger at Marina. Stay here. We'll talk about it later. Your behavior. She won't stay with you anywhere, Larissa said firmly. Marina, pack your things. You're coming with us. This is my home. She's my wife. I won't allow it. Victor blocked the way to the stairs. A kitchen knife appeared in his hand. He quietly grabbed it from the table. Now everyone sit down and shut up. Marina will stay here, and you will clean up and forget the way to this house. Situation heated up to the limit. Valentina Petrovna hugged her daughter. Larissa stood in front of them, protecting them. Victor waved his knife, spitting. I have tolerated your family for 3 years. This is stupid. He pointed at Marina, not at all capable. She can neither give birth to children nor run a normal home. All she can do is whine and complain. I can't give birth because you beat me when I was pregnant. Suddenly Marina shouted. These words sounded like a bolt from the blue. Valentina Petrovna swayed. Larissa gasped. That you were pregnant? Whispered the mother. Yes, Mom. 2 years ago. I wanted to tell you. I wanted to make you happy. But, Victor, he came drunk. I told him about the child, and he started shouting that it's too early, that I specifically want to tie him up, and then I kicked him in the stomach. I lost my baby in the 3rd month. Marina spoke through her sobs. Victor was taken aback for a second. He didn't expect his wife to tell him about it. You're lying. It's okay. It wasn't like that. You fell down the stairs yourself. But his voice sounded uncertainly. Valentina Petrovna stood up. Her eyes blazed with such fury as her daughter I've never seen it. You killed my grandson. She stepped towards Victor. Valia, be careful, he has a knife, Larissa warned. But Valentina Petrovna seemed not to hear. She came up close to her son-in-law. I entrusted you with the most, my dear, my daughter. And you are a monster. Unexpectedly for everyone, she gave Victor a resounding slap. He was taken aback, dropped the knife. Larissa reacted instantly, kicked the knife away and grabbed phone. Hello, police? We urgently need a squad at 15, Solnechная Street. Domestic violence, death threats. Victor tried to snatch her phone, but Valentina Petrovna clung to him with a death grip. Don't you dare touch my sister. The next half hour passed in a blur. The police arrived. Marina, she testified in a trembling voice, showing bruises. Larissa, as a doctor, recorded bodily injuries. Victor first yelled, threatened everyone to sue. Then, when he realized that the bluff hadn't worked, he began to beg Marina not to submit applications. Marina, honey, what are you doing? We love each other. It's just a misunderstanding. He tried to get closer to his wife, but the policeman blocked his way. Do not approach the victim. What is she like? The victim. She's my wife. The court will decide. In the meantime, let's go to the car. When Victor was taken away, Marina seemed to go limp. 3 years tension, fear, pain. It all came at once. She would have fallen if Mom and Aunt did not support her. That's it, my daughter, it's all over. He is no longer, it won't touch you, Valentina Petrovna whispered, hugging her daughter. Larissa was businesslike. Commanded, okay, Marina, collect the documents and the most necessary things. We'll pick up the rest later with the witnesses. Valia, call a taxi. Let's go to my place. I have a big apartment. There is enough space for everyone. Marina obediently went up to the bedroom. Opening the closet, she was confused what to take. All these expensive dresses, jewelry seemed alien. She took just jeans, a couple of sweaters, documents, and a photo of my father. And, of course, silver swallow brooch. As Marina walked down the stairs with her small bag, she took one last look around a luxurious house that was a prison. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, expensive furniture. All this was bought at the cost of her tears and pain. She went out onto the porch and took a deep breath of the evening air. For the first time in 3 years, she felt free. In the taxi, her mother held her hand, and Aunt Larissa was already planning her next steps. Actions. Tomorrow morning we'll go to my clinic, we'll conduct a full examination, we'll document all the injuries. Then I know one good lawyer. We'll get you and this bastard out quickly. What if he comes out again? Marina doesn't finish, but everyone understood her fear. It won't be that easy. The threat of murder at witnesses. This is a serious article. And we will also record the beating. In the meantime, we'll get a restraining order. He won't be able to come near you, Larissa reassured him. Aunt Larissa's apartment greeted them with warmth and comfort. No ostentatious chic. Comfortable furniture, lots of books, flowers on the windowsills. Marina, you will live in the guest room. Make yourself at home. Larissa turned on the kettle. Now we'll have some tea and go to bed. Tomorrow is a difficult day. Valentina Petrovna could not hold back her tears over tea. Oh my God, how could I have been so blind? There were signs. You've become so silent, lost weight. And those bruises that you explained by clumsiness. Forgive me, my daughter. Mom, it's not your fault. Victor played very convincingly. The role of the ideal husband. Everyone believed him. Marina shook her mother's hand. You know what? What made me wary today? Larissa said thoughtfully. His face when Valia stood up for a toast. He lost control for a second and I saw the real him. Such malice cannot be helped. He hates you, Valia. But why? I always treated him well. That's why it's easier for people like him manipulate the victim when she is isolated from her family. And you were there, supported Marina. He couldn't separate you. It was powerless for him. Marina listened and understood. Aunt was right. Victor was constantly trying to make her quarrel with her mother. He found fault with every visit and made scandals after my mother's calls. She's meddling in our lives, he shouted. And she defended her mother and got it for it. New bruises. The night passed restlessly. Marina woke up from every rustle. It seemed that at any moment there would be a crash of the door being knocked down and Victor would appear. In the morning she fell into a restless sleep, and she dreamed of her dad. He smiled and stroked her on the head and said, Everything will be fine, daughter. You are strong, you can handle it. In the morning Larissa took Marina to her clinic. Young nurse Olya, seeing the beatings, gasped. Oh, my God, who is this? My husband, Marina answered quietly. Here, sorry, but there's no other way to put it. My friend suffered the same way, she could barely broke free. Olya carefully treated the abrasions. The examination showed multiple hematomas of varying ages, traces of rib fractures, concussion. How did you even put up with it? Dr. Sergei Pavlovich, Larissa's colleague, shook his head, studying the x-rays. Where else can I go? He said that no one would tell me believe that he has connections everywhere. Marina sat on the couch, wrapped in a sick robe. Remember, Marina, domestic violence is a crime, and no connections will help if there is evidence. And we have plenty of it now. Larissa collected medical reports in a folder. This will be useful in court. From the lawyer, Marina came out inspired. Anna Igorevna, an energetic 40-year-old woman, got down to business right away. We'll get it sorted out quickly, don't doubt it. With such evidence of beatings, the court will be on your side, property let's share. You have the right to half of what was pressed together. I don't need anything from him. Marina shook her head. It must be done, the lawyer said harshly. This is not a handout, it is your legal right. You have suffered hell for 3 years. Let them at least compensate you financially. The following weeks flew by in a flurry of activity. Trials, examinations, interrogations. Victor hired expensive lawyers, tried to present Marina as mentally unstable. She allegedly caused her own injuries. But medical reports and testimonies of witnesses Valentina Petrovna and Larissa tipped the scales in Marina's favor. At one of the meetings, a telling episode. Victor, seeing his almost ex-wife in the courtroom corridor, did not restrain himself. You'll regret it, you bastard. I'll destroy you. He rushed at Marina, but the guards subdued him in time. This incident with numerous witnesses finally buried him chances. Marina got a divorce after 3 months. Victor was sentenced to 2 years, suspended for threats of murder and assault. He lost not only his wife, but also reputation. The story made it into local newspapers. The business partners began to turn away from him. You see, evil is always punished, said Mom, hugging her daughter. After the verdict was announced, Marina started a new life, took off her a small apartment, got a job as an administrator at Aunt Larissa's clinic. The salary was modest, but for the first time in a long time she felt happy. No one was controlling every step she took, didn't criticize, didn't raise his hand. Marina Andreevna, to you patient in office 15. Young nurse Sveta looked into the reception. Marina nodded and went to see the visitor off. She liked her job, helping people see their grateful smiles. The team welcomed her warmly, especially after how did they find out her story. One evening, returning home, Marina saw on a crying girl on a bench near the entrance. Young, about 20 years old, with a bruise on half her face. Marina sat down next to me. Were you offended? The girl raised her tear-stained eyes. My husband, I can't take it anymore. History was repeating itself. Marina took out a business card. This is a good one. Lawyer. And this is the crisis center phone number. Don't be patient, honey. I've been endured, almost died. Run, before it's too late. The girl took business card with trembling hands. And you? Were you able to leave? I was able to. And you can too. The main thing is not to be afraid. Watching the girl go, Marina thought, Dad, I can help others. My experience was not in vain. There was a quiet jingle in her purse. Silver swallow brooch. Talisman of a new life. A year has passed. Marina has blossomed. A blush. Her eyes sparkled again. She even started dating a cute doctor from neighboring department. Alexei was the complete opposite of Victor, calm, attentive, never raised his voice. Marish, maybe we should go to the movies on Saturday? Alexei looked into the reception. With pleasure, Marina smiled. There the relationship developed slowly. She was afraid of repeating the mistake, but Alexei did not hurry, understanding what she had to go through. Valentina Petrovna blossomed together with her daughter. Freed from worrying about Marina, she seemed to grow younger, signed up for computer literacy courses and started traveling with a group of pensioners. You know, daughter, I realized that life at 60 is just beginning. Aunt Larissa became not just a relative for Marina, but her best friend. We often sat in the kitchen in the evenings, drank tea, and talked about everything under the sun. Do you know what your story taught me? Larissa once said, It is impossible I would have turned a blind eye to the violence if I had noticed it earlier. But now I'm more attentive to your patients. I've already sent 3 to the crisis center. A Victoria Marina tried not to think. She only knew that his business had collapsed, his house sold for debts. They said he had become an alcoholic and was living in a rented apartment somewhere. Sometimes she felt sorry for him. After all, they lived together for 3 years. But then she remembered the beatings, the humiliation lost child and pity evaporated. One day, leaving the clinic, Marina came face to face with him. Victor stood at the entrance, unshaven, his clothes rumpled, eyes red from drunkenness. Marina. He tried to grab her hand. She recoiled. "Don't you dare touch me. Forgive me." I realized what a fool I was. "Come back." "Never," Marina said firmly. The guard Marina came out of the clinic. Andreevna. "Is everything okay?" "Yes, Stepan Ivanovich. This man is already leaving." Victor lost his temper, turned around and walked away. Marina watched him go and was surprised. Was she ever afraid of this pathetic man? In the evening she told about this meeting Alexei. He frowned. He might file a complaint. What if he shows up again? I don't think so. He's broken. I've seen it. People like him need sacrifice to assert myself. And I'm not a victim anymore. Alexei hugged her. You are the strongest woman I know. The wedding with Alexei took place in 2 years, modest in the circle of loved ones. Marina shone in a simple white dress. Valentina Petrovna cried with happiness. Larissa made a toast to the real love that does not require sacrifice. A year later, a daughter was born, little Lizochka, with daddy's eyes and mommy's smile. Marina held her in her arms and whispered, "I won't let anyone hurt you, my sunshine." Never. Life got better. Marina continued to work in the clinic, simultaneously receiving higher education, always dreamed of becoming a psychologist. "I want to professionally help women who have experienced violence," she explained her decision. At her diploma defense in the first, the closest ones were sitting in a row. Mom, Aunt Larissa, Alexei with little Lisa on hands. The topic of the thesis: psychological rehabilitation of victims of domestic violence. The commission set the highest grade. "Dad, you would be proud of me," Marina said mentally, touching the silver brooches on the lapel of a jacket. The swallow is a symbol of spring, renewal of new life, the life she built herself, going through hell. In the crisis center, where Marina started leading support groups, everyone knew her story. The women who came there broken and lost saw in it an example of the fact that there is always a way out. If she could do it, so can I, they said to each other. The main thing is not to remain silent, Marina repeated at every meeting. Violence is fueled by silence. Speak, shout, ask for help. You are not alone. After the groups, people often approached her. They thanked me, cried on my shoulder. Every saved life was a small victory. One day, a very young girl, Katia, 18 years old, was brought to the center, all in bruises. Tyrant's husband was 20 years older, kept her locked up, beat her for any offense. The story is painfully familiar. Marina sat down next to me and took my hand. "Tell me everything. Don't be afraid." Katia told me, sobbing, about the beatings, humiliation, threats to kill if he left. Marina listened, nodded, sometimes hugged. Then she said, "You know, I was in your place and thought that I would not survive. But look, I'm here, I have a family, a job I love, and you can do it." Working with Katia was difficult. The girl was intimidated. She tried to return to her husband several times. But Marina did not. I gave in, took her to a psychologist, helped her with the documents, supported her. 6 months later, Katia entered college, rented a room in a dorm, and started a new life. Life. Marina Andreevna, I am like my own mother to you. Katia hugged her at the graduation. If it weren't for you, I would have died. You saved yourself, darling. I was just there. Marina stroked her head, remembering herself 7 years ago, just as lost and broken. The years passed. Lizochka grew up with a thoughtful girl. Alexei got a position head of department. Marina defended her PhD dissertation. Valentina Petrovna babysat her granddaughter. Larissa retired, but continued consult. All the relatives gathered at the family dinner in honor of Lizanka's 10th birthday. The table was filled with joy, laughter, and warmth. Do you remember how we took you from that hell? Larissa suddenly said. There was a pause. I remember, she answered calmly. Marina. And I am grateful to you for this every day. Mom, what the hell? Lisa became wary. Marina looked at her daughter. It's time to find out the truth. Once upon a time Mom lived with a bad person who offended her. But Grandma and Aunt Larissa helped. I had to leave him. And then I met Dad, and we had you. And why is there did the man hurt you? Lisa frowned. Because he was sick, honey. Some people get pleasure from hurting others. But you know what? We can always choose to endure or leave. And I chose to leave. I did the right thing, the girl said decisively. No one has the right to offend others. After dinner, Marina went out onto the balcony. The city was shining with lights. The first stars were lit in the sky. Somewhere in the past, there remained a frightened girl who hid her bruises under a layer of makeup. And here in the present stood a strong woman helping others. Phone vibrated. Message from the crisis center. Marina Andreevna brought a new one. Will you be able to conduct tomorrow conversation? She replied, Of course, I'll be there in the morning. The work continued. How many more women needed help, support, believing that life can be different? Alexei hugged her from behind. What were you thinking about? About how strangely life turns out. If it weren't for that nightmare, I wouldn't have met you, I wouldn't have found my calling. Everything to the best? Yes. Although the price was too high. They stood, hugging, looking to the night city. Somewhere there, behind the glowing windows, perhaps right now the woman suffers beatings and humiliation. But perhaps tomorrow she will find in herself the strength to say enough and start a new life. As Marina once did, a silver swallow gleamed on the lapel of his jacket. Dad's gift, a talisman. A reminder that spring always comes after the longest winter and that every woman deserves a life without fear and pain. Marina's story is known far beyond their city. She has been invited to speak at conferences, write articles, give interviews, but she always emphasized, I am not a heroine. Heroines are those women who find the strength to fight for themselves every day. Their lives and dignity. In Marina's office, there were pictures hanging on the wall, photographs of dozens of women whom she helped start a new life. Young and not so young, with children and without different professions and social status. They had one thing in common. They all managed to escape the cycle of violence. You know what? What is the worst thing about domestic violence? Marina told students during a lecture that the victim begins to believe that he deserves such treatment. The aggressor methodically destroys self-esteem, isolates from loved ones, instills that without she is nobody to him. And it takes a huge amount of willpower to break this vicious circle. After the lecture, a student, Marina Andreevna, approached her, and if a friend in such a situation, how to help her. The girl's tense face showed, of course, we're not talking about a friend. First, let her know that you're there and ready to help. Secondly, do not judge, the victim already feels guilty. Thirdly, offer specific assistance, phone numbers of centers, contacts of lawyers. And, the main thing is not to leave a person alone with trouble. In the evening, Marina told about this case at home. I think she'll come again. Not right away, but she'll come, she said. Alexei nodded. You give them hope. That's worth a lot. Lisa, who was doing her homework for the next table, raised her head. Mom, why do some men hit women? Marina thought, choosing her words, there are many reasons, my dear. Some saw violence in childhood and consider it normal. Others cannot control their anger. The third is to assert themselves at the expense of the weaker. But remember the main thing, no reasons justify violence. I would never tolerate such a thing, she stated decisively. Lisa, I would have fought back and left. Marina smiled. It's good that you think so. But life is more complicated. Sometimes it's not so easy to leave. There's nowhere to go, no money, there's children. Or does the woman still love the one who beats her? She hopes that he will change. Nonsense. He who beats does not love, snorted the girl. You are right, but to understand it is very difficult for the victim. That is why the support of loved ones is so important. Alexei added, and that's why my mother's job is so important. She helps women see a way out there, where they don't see him. On the weekend, the whole family went to visit Valentina Petrovna. She now lived in a small but cozy house outside the city. Her dream came true. An old dream about a garden. Come in, my dears. I baked some pies. I met them on the porch. Over tea, Valentina Petrovna talked about her flowers, neighbors, plans for vegetable garden. And you know, Svetlana called yesterday. Remember, that girl who Marisha brought to the center 3 years ago. So she married a good man. Invites to the wedding. Wonderful news. Marina was delighted. Svetlana was one of the most difficult cases. Her husband kept her practically in slavery. She tried to commit suicide several times, but gradually, step by step, she came back to life. You know, daughter, I sometimes think, if it weren't for that terrible history, how many women would be left without help, Valentina Petrovna said thoughtfully. God works in mysterious ways. I don't know about God, Mom. But yes, good can be born from any evil if you don't give up. On the contrary, on the way Lisa asked, Mom, where is that bad man now? Marina, she paused. I don't know, my dear, and I don't want to know. He's in the past, which doesn't have power over our present. And if he appears again? He won't. And if it does appear, we have the law, the police, and we are not alone. Don't be afraid. But Lisa was not afraid. She grew up in an atmosphere of love and safety, saw an example of a strong mother who turned a personal tragedy into helping others. For her, home violence was something from the realm of absolute evil, which has no place in normal life. A new week has begun from an emergency call. A woman was brought to the hospital in critical condition. Multiple injuries, rupture spleen. The husband claimed that she fell down the stairs, but the nature of the injuries suggested otherwise. Marina kept watch at her bedside until she regained consciousness. Don't be afraid, you are safe. My name is Marina. I am a psychologist. Tell me what happened. The woman, her name was Irina, kept saying stairs, but then burst into tears. He's going to kill me. He has a gun. He said if I'll tell someone. The story was typical and scary at the same time. Her husband, a security officer, drank, beat, and threatened with a weapon. Irina, I contacted the police once, but the cases were hushed up. Colleagues covered up colleague. This time he almost killed her. We will help you, Irina. There are special organizations that work with exactly these cases. The main thing is that you should want to change his life. And the children? I have 2 children. He will take them away. On the contrary, the court in such in all cases, you are always on the mother's side, but you need to act quickly and decisively. The next few days were hectic. The lawyers worked on the restraining order, looked for witnesses, collected evidence. Irina's husband tried to break into the hospital, threatened the staff. But Larissa, although retired, still had weight in medical circles. She organized round-the-clock security. Thank you, Irina whispered, squeezing Marina's hand. I thought no one would help me. He's in uniform, he has connections. The law is above the shoulder straps, and there are honest people even in the system. You'll see, justice will prevail. And it did. The case was overlooked. They intervened human rights activists, journalists. Irina's husband was fired from the authorities, given real term. The children remained with their mother. The state provided them with housing. Irina, I started life from scratch. You know, I wanted to commit suicide, she confessed to Marina as they parted. She thought death was better than such a life, but you gave me hope. Thank you. Live, Irina, live happily. This is the best gratitude. That evening Marina could not for a long time fall asleep. How many of them are women who are thinking about suicide right now as the only way out? Who don't know that there is help, that you don't have to endure, that life can be another. Are you awake? Alexei hugged her. I think we save them one by one, and the problem is global. We need to change the consciousness of society, teach children from an early age that violence is unacceptable. You're already doing this. Your lectures, articles, speeches. A drop wears away a stone. The next day Marina was invited to appear on television. The topic of the program, domestic violence. The studio gathered experts, journalists, several women ready to tell their stories. Marina was worried. One, it's a matter of small audiences, but a federal channel is another matter. Don't be nervous, the host encouraged her. Just tell us what you think is important. Your experience can save someone's life. And Marina told. About statistics. Every 3rd woman faces violence. About myths beats, so she loves, it's her own fault. Helplines, crisis centers, shelters. After the broadcast, the phone was ringing off the hook. Women from all over the country called, thanked, asked for advice, told their stories. Marina answered everyone, gave contacts of local centers, encouraged. Lisa proudly spoke at school. My mother, she was on TV yesterday. She saves people, but there were other calls. Aggressive men accused her of destroying families with feminist propaganda as the problem increased. One even threatened, we'll find you, teach you some sense. Alexei was worried. He could hire security, but Marina refused. No, I'll let them intimidate me. That's their last weapon, fear. A month after a letter arrived. No return address. Handwritten. Marina Andreevna, you don't know me. I watched your program and cried. I live with my husband. Tyrant for 15 years. I thought I would die like this. But you gave me strength. Yesterday I went to my sister, filed for divorce. It's scary, but I can handle it. Thank you for the hope. There were many letters. Women wrote from different cities, shared stories, thanked. Marina kept them all in a separate folder. These are my awards, she said. Each letter saved life. Work in the center continued. New faces, new destinies, new tragedies and victories. Marina no longer led every case personally. There were students, followers. But the most difficult situations still went to her. One day they brought a teenage girl. 15 years old. Her father raped her from 12. The mother did not believe. She accused her daughter of lying. The girl tried to run away several times, but she was returned. The last suicide attempt led her to hospital, and from there to the center. Work with her went on for months. Mistrust, fear, self-hatred. All of this had to be overcome. Marina showed miracles of patience, gradually breaking through the wall of alienation. And one day the girl Nastya cried on her shoulder. Why doesn't Mom believe me? Why is she defending him and not me? Because admitting the truth is scarier for her than to live a lie. But it's not your fault, Nastenka. You're not guilty of anything. Gradually Nastya thawed out and began to believe in herself. Why did they put her in jail, mother? Deprived of parental rights. The girl was adopted by a distant relative, a good woman who was ready to give her a real home. I want to become like you, Nastya said goodbye. To help like me. You can do it. You're strong. You've been through hell and survived. Use this experience for good. Over the years, Nastya really did become a psychologist specializing in working with children who are victims of violence. Marina turned 50, half a century, joked Alexei. The most beautiful half-century woman. All relatives, colleagues, wards gathered for the anniversary. A huge hall the restaurant could barely accommodate the guests, but the most touching gift was a video. Dozens of women wrote down their gratitude and told how their lives had changed. This you saved us, Marina said, wiping away tears. You found the strength in yourself fight. I was just there. Valentina Petrovna, who was already over 80, rose for a toast. I'm proud of my daughter. She turned personal tragedy to help thousands. This is a real feat, Lisa, already a medical student, added. My mother taught me the most important thing. Never give up and always lend a helping hand to those in need. I want to be like her. The evening went on. Toasts, congratulations, memories were heard. Marina looked at these people, her big family, and thought, yes, it was worth it. That. All these years of struggle, of working on oneself, every life saved, victory over evil. Late in the evening, when the guests had left, Marina went out onto the terrace restaurant. The city was shining with lights. Life went on. Somewhere out there in the darkness, a woman hides her bruises and thinks there is no way out. But there is always a way out. You just need to reach out for help. Silver a swallow on a chain sparkled in the light of the lanterns. Dad's gift, a talisman, reminder. I kept my promise, Dad, Marina whispered. I didn't just survive. I'm helping. To survive for others. In the morning, a new charge was waiting for her. A young woman with a baby ran away from her drug-addict husband. The story continued, and still exists violence. Marina's work would not end. But she did not complain. This was a path, her calling, her way to make the world a little better. Ready? Asked Alexei at breakfast. Always ready, Marina smiled. And it was true. Ready to listen, support, help believe in yourself. Ready to fight evil and win, because she knew that light is always stronger darkness. You just need to not be afraid to light a candle. Marina came to the crisis center earlier than usual. Her new charge Elena was waiting for her in the hall. Fragile, a blonde woman of about 30 with frightened eyes and a sleeping baby in her arms. Hello, I'm Marina Andreevna. Let's go to my office, it's quieter there, Marina said softly, noticing how the woman flinched at the sound of the door slamming. Elena was silent for a long time in the office, rocking the baby. Marina did not rush. Experience taught that sometimes silence speaks more words. Finally, Elena spoke incoherently, confusedly, looking around every now and then. On the door. He'll find me. He has friends everywhere. He's a former policeman. He said he would kill me if I left and take Demochka. Tears rolled down her cheeks, dripping on the sleeping baby's head. Elena, look at me. Marina leaned forward, making eye contact. You're safe. He won't be able to get you here. We'll help you fill out all the paperwork, find safe housing. The main thing is that you have taken the most difficult step. You left, but I didn't even take my things, only my documents and Demochka. I don't have nothing, no money, no work. All this can be solved. The main thing now is your security. The next hours were spent in bustle. The center's lawyer began to draw up restraining order. The social worker was looking for a place in a shelter for women with children. Marina did not leave her side Elena, who shuddered at every sound. You know, I went through this too. I passed, Marina said quietly. I also thought that I wouldn't survive. But here I am, I work, I have a wonderful family, and you will succeed. By lunchtime, the situation complicated. Elena's husband, Sergei, somehow found out where she was and came to the center. The guards wouldn't let him in, but he stood at the entrance, shouting threats. Elena, come out immediately. You are my wife, you have no right. I will find you everywhere. Elena was shaking with fear, hugging her awakened and crying son. Marina called the police. The squad that arrived tried to calm Sergei down, but he flew into a rage. Do you know who I am? I worked in the authorities for 10 years. My wife, my child, I have right. They grabbed him and took him away, but Marina knew it was only the beginning. People like him don't give up easily. What happens now? Elena asked when everything calmed down. We'll take you to a safe place now. No one will know the address except several employees of the center. Tomorrow we will meet with the lawyer. We will begin the procedure divorce and determining the child's place of residence. Marina explained in a businesslike manner, although everything inside was constricted with anxiety. The case was complicated. A former policeman with connections, aggressive, stopping at nothing. In the evening Marina told about a new case home. Alexei frowned. Maybe you should take a vacation? Relax a little. You work without days off. I can't. Elena trusted me. I can't leave her. Lisa, who came home from university for the weekend, supported her mother. That's right. Who, if not you? Just be careful. Marina couldn't sleep that night. She thought about Elena, about little Dima, about all the women who are living in fear right now. How many of them are there all over country? Millions. And each one thinks that she is alone, that no one will help her. We need to expand the network of centers, she whispered in the darkness. We need a state program. In the morning, write it down, Alexei replied sleepily. Go to sleep now. Larissa called in the morning. Marina, I heard about yesterday's incident. This Sergei, he is dangerous. I have a friend in the prosecutor's office. Maybe I could get him involved? That would be good. Auntie Larissa, we need all the support we can get. Consider that we've already agreed. And be careful. These types are unpredictable. In the shelter, Elena calmed down a little. The place was safe. A former private house, converted to the needs of the center. High fence, cameras, security. Here up to 10 women with children could live at the same time. Meet Oksana, Svetlana, Zhana. Marina introduced the other inhabitants. Girls, this is Elena. Will you help her? Settle in? The women welcomed the newcomer warmly. Each had her own story of pain, but here they supported each other. The first days are the hardest, she said. Oksana, a woman in her 40s, with a teenage son. But then it gets easier. The main thing is not to go back, no matter how scary it is. Marina spent in the shelter all day, helping Elena adapt. By the evening she had relaxed a little, even smiled when the other children played with Demochka. You know, I'm 5 years old, I endured, she suddenly said. She thought that for the sake of the child she had to keep the family together. And yesterday he made a move on Dima, and I realized, that's it, enough. It's better for us to live in poverty, but safety. The next morning the legal battle began. Work. Lawyer Anna Igorevna, the same one who once helped Marina, Took on business with enthusiasm. Former policeman. So what? There is only one law for everyone. We will collect evidence, testimonies. Do you have medical records about the wallpaper? Elena nodded. She went to the emergency room several times. She said she fell, but the doctors wrote everything down. Great. This will help us. And we also need write a statement about all cases of violence, in detail with dates. I understand, it's hard to remember, but necessary. Elena began to write, periodically stopping to wipe away tears. Marina sat next to him, supporting him. Alarming news arrived at noon. Sergei, having left custody, began calling Elena's relatives, threatening. Her elderly parents were in a panic. He said he would burn down our house. If we don't tell where Lena is, Elena's mother cried into the phone. Mom, don't be afraid. Elena tried to calm her down. Tell him you don't know and call the police right away if he will appear. Marina made a decision. She needed to act faster. Anna Igorevna, is it possible to speed up the process of obtaining a restraining order? I'll try. Given the threats to relatives, the court must respond promptly. And let's involve the media. A peephole is the best defense in such cases. Are you sure? Elena became worried. What if this makes him even more angry? But he will know that he is being watched. And if something happens, everyone will know. Who is to blame? Marina explained. She remembered how Oglaska had helped in the case arena. Public opinion, a powerful force. 2 days later, Elena's story appeared in local media without details and addresses, but with a clear position. Former guard order terrorizes his wife and child. The public reaction was violent. Someone supported Elena, someone defended Sergei, saying that there was no need to air quarrels in public. But the main thing was that he was now under close scrutiny. Sergei was not satisfied. He hired a lawyer and filed a counterclaim about slander, about illegal detention of a child, about division of property. Classic tactics of the aggressor, commented Anna Igorevna. To overwhelm with lawsuits, to intimidate, to force give in. But we won't give in. Meanwhile, the usual work was in full swing in the center. New women came for help, old charges dropped in to share successes. Katia, the same 18-year-old girl, came running with a diploma. Marina Andreevna, I graduated from college with honors. They're accepting me into the university. Marina hugged her. Clever girl, I'm so proud of you. But the joy was overshadowed by a new incident. In the evening, when Marina was returning home, her car was cut off by a black Jeep. Sergei came out of it. So, you are such a fucking savior. Because of you, the wife ran away. Marina quickly locked the doors and grabbed the phone. Don't you dare come near me. I'm calling the police. Call them. He punched the hood, leaving a dent. That's it. You won't prove anything anyway. But remember, you've meddled in something that's none of your business. Give me back my wife and child, or you will feel sorry. Fortunately, a patrol car pulled up. Someone from passers-by called the police. Sergei got into the Jeep and drove away, but Marina didn't leave for a long time. Could calm down. At home, Alexei was furious. That's enough. We'll hire security tomorrow. Alyosha, calm down. He's just trying to scare us. Intimidate? He threatened you. What if next time he doesn't limit himself to threats? Lisa was scared too. Mom, maybe we should really take a vacation? Go somewhere. If I give in now, he will win. And Elena will be left without support. No, I can't back down, Marina said firmly. But inside she was afraid. Not for himself, but for his family. What if Sergei decides to get to Alexei or Lisa? The next day, security measures were increased in the center. Cameras, panic buttons, instruction staff. Elena blamed herself. It's all because of me. Sorry, Marina Andreevna. Nonsense. It's not your fault. You have the right to a safe life, and he is a criminal who must be punished. Sergei's former police colleague, Major Stepanov, provided unexpected support. He came to the center and asked for meeting with Marina. I've known Sergei for 10 years, he said. He was always with oddities. Hot-tempered, aggressive. We covered for him. We thought he was one of our own. And then he beat up the detainee, almost killed him. Had to fire him. If you need testimony about his character, I'm ready. This was a breakthrough. The testimony of a serving police officer carried weight in court. Anna Igorevna rejoiced. With such evidence we will definitely win. And the restraining order will get a divorce and they won't give him the child. But Sergei didn't give up. He found the shelter's phone number and started calling, demanding Elena. When he didn't give the phone, he left voice messages with threats. All calls were recorded. Another piece of evidence for the court. "Mom, I'm scared," she admitted. Elena. One evening they were sitting in the common room of the shelter. Demochka was sleeping on hands. What if the court decides that the child needs a father? What if he is given the right to meetings? The court thinks first and foremost about the child's safety. With such evidence of aggression, Sergei will not even receive the right to meetings under supervision, Marina reassured, although she herself I knew anything could happen. The court hearing was scheduled for a month later. Time dragged on painfully long. Elena started working, got a remote job, and typed texts. A little money, but at least some independence. Other women in the shelter helped with Demochka, creating a kind of commune of mutual aid. A week before the trial, something happened that everyone were afraid. Sergei tracked down Elena's parents when they were going to visit her for the day. Birth. Gave chase, tried to stop their car. Elena's father, an elderly man with a bad heart, couldn't handle the stress and had a heart attack while driving. Miraculously, they managed to get him to the hospital. Elena was crying in Marina's office. "It's all my fault. Dad could die because of me." "No, Elena, it's only Sergei's fault. It was he who drove your father to this. And now an attempt on his life will be added to the other charges. To kill. But Dad, if something happens to him, won't happen. The doctors are doing everything they can, and we will ensure hospital security." Incidents stirred up the public. Even those who had doubted before were now on Elena's side. In social networks launched a flash mob of support. People shared their stories, demanded fair punishment for the aggressor. The day of the trial arrived. The courtroom was full. Journalists, human rights activists, representatives of women's organizations. Elena was trembling as she entered the hall, but Marina held her hand tightly. "Everything will be fine. True, on our side." Sergei sat with his lawyer, sullen and angry. He tried to feign remorse, but eyes betrayed true feelings, hatred, and thirst for revenge. When Elena she was giving evidence, he tried to interrupt her several times until the judge threatened to remove from the hall. The witnesses spoke one after another. Neighbors talked about screams and scandals. Doctors about Elena's injuries. Major Stepanov about Sergei's outbursts of aggression at work. The culmination was the recording of his threats. A voice of full fury, promising to find and destroy. Sergei's lawyer tried to imagine everything as a family quarrel, exaggerated by a hysterical woman and feminists, but the facts were irrefutable. The judge retired to deliberate. An hour of waiting seemed like an eternity. Finally the verdict: divorce, ban on approaching Elena and the child, deprivation of parental rights, arousal criminal case for threats and persecution. The hall exploded with applause. Sergei jumped up. "This is wrong. She is my wife, my child." The bailiff calmed him down. But he continued to scream until he was taken out of the hall. Elena cried, but these were tears relief. "We are free, son," she whispered to Demochka. "We are free." After the trial, everyone went to the hospital to visit Elena's father. He got better, met his daughter smile. "Well, have you defeated evil?" "You have, Dad." "That's great. Now live. Be happy and raise your grandson correctly so that he grows up to be a real man. Protects women, and does not offend them." A month later, Elena and Demochka moved to a small rented apartment. The center helped with the down payment. Found kindergarten for the baby. Life was getting better. "I'll be coming to support groups," Elena promised. And to tell other women. There is always a way out. History Elena became iconic. She was invited to speak at a conference on domestic violence. At first, she was afraid, but Marina convinced me, "Your voice is important. You will prove to other women that it is possible to defeat even the most dangerous aggressor." Elena's performance created a furor. She spoke simply sincerely, without pathos. "I am an ordinary woman, not a heroine, not a fighter, just a mother who wanted to protect her child. If I could do it, you can too." The main thing is not to remain silent, ask for help, believe in yourself. After the conference, a woman in an expensive suit approached Marina. I am Veronika Pavlovna, a city council deputy. Your work is impressive. We want to allocate funding to expand the network of crisis centers. Will you help with the organization? Marina couldn't believe it. The dream was becoming reality.